Honestly, I think. I really believe we've hit a new low, a really chilling low in our political landscape. When the actual children of our leaders are violently targeted like this, it sends shivers down my spine. It feels like such a dangerous step up in hatred, doesn't it? Something that threatens, well, the very fabric of our society. Just the other day, actually, I was watching some kids playing in the park, so carefree. And it just hits you how precious that feeling of safety is for kids, that innocence we all want to protect. So to imagine that being shattered for a family, especially so publicly and brutally, it's just heartbreaking for all of us, I think, as Malaysians. Today we're talking about that shocking attack on Rafizi's 13-year-old son. It happened just today in a shopping mall in Putrajaya. I mean, what even runs through your mind when you hear about something like this happening right here to a child?
It is deeply concerning. This incident involving the son of Rafizi, the former economic minister and Pandan MP, it really shifts things, doesn't it? Away from just political disagreements, however intense they get, into a place that, well, it touches every single parent, every citizen. It really challenges our basic understanding of where the lines are in public life.
Okay, so let's break it down. What exactly happened this afternoon? The details are still coming in, but what do we know for sure?
Well, as reported, Rafizi's 13-year-old son was attacked, yes, this afternoon. It took place in a shopping mall parking lot over in Putrajaya. The accounts are pretty harrowing. Reports say a man actually drugged him and then used a syringe to stab him.
A syringe?
Yes. And the situation felt even more serious when Rafizi himself confirmed the attack. He added a really chilling detail that two men on motorcycles had apparently been following his wife's car beforehand.
Following the car. So that suggests...
Exactly. It strongly suggests this wasn't some random spontaneous thing. It points towards it being pre-planned, malicious. After the attack, the boy was rushed straight to Sultan Abdulaziz Shah Hospital in Serdang for urgent medical treatment.
Okay, two men following the car, an attack in a public place with a syringe. It just screams premeditation.
Yeah.
Really disturbing intent. And the reactions, they've been pouring in, right? Immediate, strong, right up to the highest levels. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, for instance.
That's right. Prime Minister Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim reacted very quickly. He expressed profound regret, shock. He specifically called it a malicious and intentional act against Rafizi's son.
Malicious and intentional. Strong words.
Very. And what's interesting, I think, is how the Prime Minister put it in context. He mentioned that, the existing problems with school bullying haven't even subsided yet, and now we're facing something even more serious, more alarming like this.
Huh. So he linked it to school bullying.
He did, which seems to suggest a wider concern about the overall climate of aggression, maybe, extending beyond schools into the public sphere. And Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim acted fast. He contacted the Home Minister, Dato Seri Saifuddin Nasution, directly, demanded a transparent, swift investigation. He also sent his well wishes, prayers for Rafizi and his family, naturally.
That link to bullying
Yeah.
is interesting. It almost sounds like he's acknowledging there's already this undercurrent of aggression here, and this attack is just a more extreme, really chilling version of it. What does that tell us, do you think, about how safe people feel in Malaysia right now, if that's coming from the top?
Well, it certainly signals a clear recognition, right, from the government's perspective, that the societal sense of safety, particularly for young people, is under real strain. The Prime Minister pushing for a rapid investigation isn't just about this one crime. It suggests the government sees this potentially as a symptom of something bigger, an escalating aggression problem that needs serious attention. There's likely a concern that if acts like this aren't checked, they could really erode public trust, that feeling of security.
And it wasn't just the PM, was it? We saw condemnations from other big names in Party Keadilan Rakyat, too. That really shows how seriously they're taking it.
Absolutely. Dato Sri Chung Lee Kong, who's a vice chairman of Party Keadilan Rakyat, he came out very strongly. He called the attack cruel, planned, and targeted unequivocally. He even labeled it a cowardly act, attacking family members of political figures, especially a child.
Cowardly, yeah.
And what really struck me was a personal angle. He openly said he was concerned for his own family's safety now and worried more broadly about the situation in Malaysia. That tells you something, that anxiety among politicians themselves. He went further, actually. He called for unity among politicians to stand against what he called a culture of disgust.
Culture of disgust.
Oh.
Wow, that's a powerful phrase.
It is. It paints a really grim picture, doesn't it? Political fights spiraling into something toxic where basic lines of decency just get blurred or ignored.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if this awful incident is a sign of that very culture taking hold.
It could be. And Dato Fuzia Saleh, the Secretary General of Parti Keadilan Rakyat, she echoed that kind of sentiment, stated very clearly, children should never be targets, under any circumstances. She called it cruel and inhumane, stressing that children are vulnerable, and that should be beyond politics. She demanded decisive action, obviously, to catch the perpetrators and ensure safety, especially for kids. What's quite striking is how unified the condemnation seems to be across the board on this point. It's like a rare consensus that some lines, especially involving children, just cannot be crossed. Even when politics get really heated, that collective message is pretty critical, trying to shut down these kinds of tactics before they spread.
But the fact that leaders are actually saying they fear for their own families and calling out this culture of disgust, it really makes you think about the long term, doesn't it, for how politics works here. Is this where things are heading? Political battles spilling out beyond debates and votes right into people's homes, affecting their kids' safety?
That's a really profound question, isn't it, about the boundaries of political engagement in Malaysia when children become targets. It marks a really deep, concerning breakdown of those societal guardrails. It sort of suggests a dangerous normalization of hatred, of aggression that could potentially touch anyone in public life, not just the politicians. It's a fundamental challenge to the civility you need for democracy to even function.
And this didn't just stay in the news cycle, it went straight to Parliament, didn't it? A demand for accountability right away.
Yes, it hit Parliament almost immediately. Wong Kah-Wo, the Subang MP, he urged the Dewan Rakyat Speaker Tan Sri Johari Abdul to basically compel the Home Minister, Dato Seri Saifuddin Nasution, to give an explanation in Parliament. He actually cited a specific rule, Parliamentary Standing Order 14.1, which allows for urgent public matters to be brought up for immediate ministerial response.
Using a specific standing order.
Right, which underlines just how urgent and serious they saw this within Parliament itself.
So this whole question of safety for MPs, for their families, it's now properly front and center in the Dewan Rakyat. What does it signify when you have to make such a formal demand in invoking the rules like that for an issue like this?
It signifies the absolute gravity of it and the immediate need for some kind of official accountability. Wong Kah-Wo really stressed how important it was, saying it threatens not just MPs' safety, but their families too. He pointed out that ensuring the nation's safety, including its lawmakers, is a core duty of Parliament. The Speaker, Tan Sri Johari Abdul, acknowledged how sudden it was and the wider safety implications for everyone. He said he'd contact the Home Minister first for an explanation and then, if needed, arrange for a full statement to Parliament. So it shows the legislature is taking this threat, this potential threat to its members and their families, extremely seriously. It's not just seen as a crime, but potentially as an attack on the stability, the very functioning of governance.
You know, this isn't just about Rafizi's family anymore, is it? As tragic as it is for them. This whole thing forces us to look beyond the what and really start thinking about the why. What's the intention behind something so reprehensible? It feels like it's about a worrying trend, one that could affect anyone in public life, maybe any Malaysian citizen eventually. It makes you pause and think about the kind of society we're actually building here, or maybe unbuilding.
That's exactly the point. When you try to unpack the intention behind an act like this, especially targeting family, targeting a child in a political context, the message is just chillingly clear and deeply disturbing. It's probably not just about causing physical harm, right? It's psychological. The main goal seems to be intimidation, to silence someone, to create this paralyzing fear. Targeting a child, that's not a random choice, it's strategic. It taps into that universal instinct to protect the vulnerable. Choosing a child magnifies the intimidation massively, far more than attacking the politician directly might. The aim seems to be silence through sheer emotional distress. It's an attack on innocence, on vulnerability, calculated to inflict maximum emotional pain and pressure. And this kind of act, it directly reflects, you could argue it even worsens, that culture of disgust we mentioned. It signals a serious breakdown in just basic civil political engagement. Moving from arguing ideas to personal terror tactics, the whole fabric of political discussion starts to fray when things like this happen. And the specific use of a syringe, that adds another really nasty layer, doesn't it?
It really does.
It could be symbolic, maybe? Spreading something harmful, contagious, a kind of silent threat beyond just the physical assault. It implies contamination, maybe a lasting scar, physical or psychological. It feels like an attempt to push conflict into a whole new, awful territory. signaling a willingness to cause lasting damage to a family's well-being, their sense of safety. Acts like this, if they aren't condemned and dealt with decisively, they risk normalizing these extreme forms of intimidation, and that just erodes the fundamental trust a society needs.
What we've seen today, this attack on Rafizi's son, it's just so much more than a shocking headline, isn't it? It's such a stark reminder of how personal, how dangerous political tensions can get when those boundaries aren't just crossed, they feel obliterated.
Yeah.
Targeting a child, that's a line that no society, certainly not ours, should ever tolerate. This whole thing forces us to face some really uncomfortable truths, I think, about where our political landscape is heading and the values we actually hold dear.
It really does pose a critical, urgent question for all of us as Malaysians. When we're pursuing political goals or just disagreeing strongly, where do we draw the line? How do we protect the innocent? And what's our collective responsibility, really, to make sure that political talk, no matter how passionate or heated it gets, never, ever descends into this kind of violence or intimidation against families?
Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this one. And please, share your thoughts respectfully down in the comments below. Let's keep this important conversation going.